All right. Well, thank you for joining me here at the Channel Program podcast, the Channel CEO podcast, brought to you by Channel Program, a business optimization and sales growth platform for the global IT channel. I was going to announce one of our events coming up. It's June 25th in Costa Mesa, California. It's an MSP M&A growth show. It's a one-day event bringing together MSP owners and C-level executives that are looking to understand the process of acquisition and looking to get connected with those that are considered leading minds in the managed services industry. So to register, head on over to channelprogram.com and click the link at the top of the homepage to save your spot. So I'm thrilled to have our guest today. Arvind Parthiban is co-founder and CEO of SuperOps, a serial entrepreneur. Arvind founded SuperOps to create software platform that truly empowers managed service providers to offer best-in-class service to their clients and grow their business profitably. MSPs long struggled with clunky, outdated legacy tools. That is very well said. SuperOps is a modern alternative offering a unified PSA RMM platform powered by AI and intelligent automation built for future-focused MSPs. So with deep commitment to innovation and focus on customer success, SuperOps equips MSPs with the tools they need to streamline operations, enhance service delivery, and scale their business. That's a lot. And it's great. It's all great. And you guys are truly living up to a lot of this, a lot of what I just read about not being clunky and not being outdated. And this industry needs a lot of innovation, and you guys are truly at the forefront of that. So with that, let's kind of jump into it. I know you've got several big announcements. One of which is that you guys opened a new location down there in Dallas, Texas. Is that right?
Yes. As we speak, we just inaugurated our office at Dallas. It's a nice office by the lake. We just moved in today.
It seems like everybody's moving to the great state of Texas these days. My indoctrination or introduction to Texas, I've been there many times, but we were just mentioning I was down there last week at the 20s event, and I think I just missed all the big crazy storms that had come through the Dallas area. But you could see the trees down. We had flights delayed, and I think when I was there, they did have a pretty nasty rainstorm. So. Yeah, hopefully that's not a sign of things to come in Texas. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine for you guys. But congrats on the new location there.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. So, gosh, I don't even know where to begin because you guys have been moving so fast in this space, and there's a handful, I think, of vendors that have not even just come on the scene. You guys have been obviously around for a while now, but I think the innovation, I think kind of the fresh approach that you guys have taken to the marketplace it's been really cool. You guys are in a category where there are, as kind of the opening mentioned, a lot of outdated legacy technologies. And, we talked maybe maybe almost a year ago now, but, you guys are moving even faster. And so we'll get into all the awesome things that, you're doing with SuperOps. Let's kind of maybe take a step back because you have a really interesting background, and you had a really interesting early childhood ambition of what you wanted to be when you wanted to grow up. So let's kind of take a step back and let's revisit the Chennai days and your formative years in Bangalore and your passion for football.
Yeah. So early days of my career, right? Like my dad is from a very small village in India. He was the first graduate out of that particular village, and he started a company on my name back in the 90s. It's called Arvind Industries. It basically builds tungsten wire for bulbs, like the light bulb. He rearranged a machinery which can produce more than twice the actual output. And immediately he scaled the company to almost 150 people. Everything went well, but to be honest, he doesn't understand the nuances of business because there was no enough exposure for him knowing what goes behind running a business. It's not just the product, it's about marketing it, sales, and managing the finances. Like he's a first-time entrepreneur, and he has He didn't even have the ecosystem to help him on what to do. So he kind of failed. But when I went back to my hometown, whenever for some festivals, I saw the people who work for my dad were all well placed in different companies, and kind of the ecosystem, a whole a community moved up a ladder. Like the lifestyles were better. They knew what they're doing, the technical know-how for how to do it, right? So they all praised my dad. Like whenever we go to the restaurant, like they were like, "It's because of you we had this." Like I
Wow.
saw, I saw growing up, like one industry, one company can uplift a lot of lives, right?
Yeah.
Like I got inspired by my dad, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And one of the vision we have in SuperOps is to provide 10,000 jobs, no matter where, which is going to futuristically understand the technical know-how, and it can uplift a big ecosystem, whether it's in India or US or it's New Zealand. That's the reason why I always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Wow. So that, I mean, that must have been pretty wild seeing kind of the impact that your father had, and then maybe kind of borderline like local celebrity, maybe, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's all, wherever he goes, like he didn't definitely not make a lot of money, but he had the goodwill of a lot of people, how he impacted their life.
Yeah. So if you had to pick between one, because I brought up the fact that early on aspired to be a professional footballer, as they call it, but you also had I think a pretty keen interest in cricket. So if you had to pick one, is it football or is it cricket? Which one?
So in India, all everybody plays cricket. Everybody is a professional cricketer. Like yeah, a billion people always want to play cricket. I was into sports in my early days, so I love playing football. I was a forward player, played for first divisions football because very few people are good in football in India. When I say football, it's soccer. So cricket, I'm good at it because I'm an athlete, but for football is more closer to my heart.
So is there so cricket never? I mean, obviously football is or soccer as we call it, right? As states, but that is it's progressing, right? It hasn't picked up as quickly. But cricket, I mean, can you even play cricket in the states? Are there any like cricket
Oh,
clubs?
as we speak, the Cricket 2020 World Cup is happening in the US. I think
Oh,
big, all the CEOs, Satya Nadella is behind promoting cricket, and the World Cup is in US because of his club and things like that. In New York, one of the biggest matches to be watched across the globe, India Pakistan, is going to be happening on Sunday as we speak. So cricket is getting big
oh.
in US as well.
All right. I gotta broaden my palette here. I gotta try to check that out. All right.
All
Note to
Indian
self.
CEOs are sponsoring cricket clubs in the US. So you should watch
Ah,
that.
excellent. All right. It might be the next new growth sport in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So you said something about you said your father, I guess wasn't the greatest at marketing. But then you ended up going down the path and founded a marketing software company, right? And so,
Yes.
should I read anything into that, or is that just by happenstance or coincidence, or?
No, it's actually I in India there is this thing of every kid has to either become an engineer or a doctor, right? Like they decide what you have to study. So when I wanted to do my college, my parents were like, you should become an engineer like your cousin brother, and you should get to US. That's like how it all started. I realized that I'm really bad at coding. I can't code. So after my engineering, I basically went on to my now friend and my earlier boss, Girish, who's the CEO of Freshworks. When he interviewed me, I said, I'm really bad at coding, but I can understand technology. And he was like, okay, and why don't you want to become a developer? And this way I gave an explanation, like I can understand technology, but do something with technology, but I can't code. If I'm a developer, I'll be a very average developer. So the interview went on for like 2 to 3 hours. He spoke about routers, switches, and all these things. Like I was able to like talk to him, and there was this role which was created for me at Zoho, where that's my first job. It's called pre-sales engineer. It's basically solutions engineer. That was a job back in 2005, and I joined as a pre-sales engineer. Did almost 200 to 300 implementations of IT service management product across the globe. Then I realized, okay, I can't keep doing this. Like I was always flying, traveling, and felt like I'm living on pretzels and tomato juices of United Airlines. So like I said, like I had to do something, and that's when I thought, okay, maybe I'm good at explaining things, and I want to try out what marketing is. And it was all me learning marketing myself. From 2008 to 2015, I was heading the marketing for Zoho. So that's how I came into the marketing world, and I was naturally liking it. Like eventually, I ended up as a marketer. That's why I started my last company in the marketing space because I was working on it for almost 8 years. So that's how Zarget happened.
Awesome. And I think we talked, at one point about, so you had Freshworks, right? So you kind of had your organization, then kind of forward looking, Freshworks. How did that prepare you? I mean, because it's one thing to like know marketing, but then eventually you got a co-founder, but eventually you take a step off the ledge and say, I'm going to go tackle this big issue of these outdated PSAs and RMMs. And that's not a small task, right? I mean, that's going into, the lion's den, right? But, I guess, what about those roles, I guess, prepped you or gave you the confidence to go out there and start to try to change an industry, basically?
It's actually an interesting question, right? So when after I sold my company to Freshworks, I was again heading IT service management. Fresh Service is an IT service management product, and all my life I have been in the IT service management space. Like from 2005 to 2015, again from 2017 to 2020, I was in the IT service space. So my initial idea was to start in the IT space, not in the MSP market. MSP was just a vertical part of my earlier company. So when I was doing research, it's kind of a deja vu moment for me. So in 2008, if you look at it, like we had this one campaign where BMC was the biggest market share holder of IT space. They had almost 60 to 70% of market share.
Yeah.
HPCA and then Numara. These were the four vendors who basically were owning the market. There was this new player called ServiceNow in 2008, which came in. And literally, if you see now, they have the biggest market share of IT market. Like
Yeah.
BMC's, HPC, everything was taken away by ServiceNow. That's the exact moment I felt when I was researching for MSP in 2019 when I wanted to start a company. I really wanted to start an ITOM, IT Operation Management product. When I was researching, I saw the MSP space was not disrupted for a decade. Like 2008, the same vendors, on-prem products, legacy vendors, nothing changed. IT market evolved, and there are new vendors in the IT market, but in the MSP market, nothing changed and still the same even in 2020. I thought like, okay, if I'm not going to do it, someone else is going to disrupt the space. Like people will be forced to move to newer technology. Like they can't still use old legacy stitched bloated products. Like and one of the stats I found out is almost 60 to 70% of the entire MSP market are still using on-prem products. We are in 2020, right? So I thought, okay, this is the way I looked at it as an opportunity. So I instantly said, like, you know what, let's get into the MSP market, and we started doing business, and we decided to build PSA and RMM platform.
It's funny you mentioned BMC and Numara. Is one of my past lives in my consulting firm, and we were primarily focused on the public sector. We were at one point Numara's largest integrator or reseller of what a product they had called Track It, right?
Yep.
It's kind of that, yeah.
They got acquired.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the entry level kind of like ticketing and what have you. But I think we had something like 600 or 700 state and federal customers. But then BMC comes in and acquires it. And I always thought that we were reselling a lot of technologies back then. This is probably 2015, something like that, maybe that time frame. And we'd had a whole bunch of our vendors be acquired by other vendors, but I always thought that was one of the ones that, I thought that was a marriage that could have really been something big, right? Because you had, BMC kind of as a, the 800-pound gorilla in one slice of the market. Then you had that kind of Numara, and they had Track It, and they had Numara footprints, and they were going to a cloud platform at that point. I thought, man, gosh, this is going to be a perfect marriage. And then it was one of those, I'm saying it publicly, it was one of those acquisitions where it's just like, what the hell, And
No,
so
both are
anyway,
beautiful products, to be honest, right? Like Tracket, Numara, right?
yeah,
But the point which I kind of learned from that is you can't take an on-prem product architecture-wise and then make it into a cloud. The reason why ServiceNow was a big hit is because they are a pure play SaaS company.
yeah,
End
yeah,
of the day, there is limitations when you are playing with the architecture, right? Like you can't just take an on-prem product, like make it into cloud and say, call it a pure play SaaS. That's exactly what is happening now, right? Like
yeah,
everybody are using the old on-prem product, not building from the scratch.
yep. Yeah, and I think maybe that's part of the name super ops. Maybe it's a superpower, right? That you guys kind of took a page out of that playbook and kind of built ground up kind of this next gen approach to it. Where you're right. I mean, some of the legacy platforms, that they're built on 20-year-old technology that's insanely hard to replace at this point, right? And migration paths are difficult and challenging, and and the scalability at some point is going to, run out. And so you've got this obviously modern architecture, kind of a, next gen approach to it. And that, I'm again, maybe being prescriptive, but I think that's one of the reasons why you guys have kind of taken the market by storm. It's because, it's the flexibility, the scalability of the platform, and, maybe true to your roots. You guys do a pretty damn good job from a marketing standpoint as well. So I got to give you credit there as well. So, all right. So so you're tackling this kind of that, this, not just one, like I think most vendors would go in and say, all right, going after, PSA individually or RMM individually is enough, but you kind of went after kind of both ends of the kind of the core tools that the channel uses. I mean, what was the thought process behind kind of this integrated approach to a platform?
So when you see in my Zarget journey, I actually wanted to build a marketing automation platform. But the approach I took is build a conversion rate optimization software, like a small part of the marketing automation platform, and then land and expand. That was my first approach. But this time when I decided to enter this market, I was very clear what is my end goal. I want to be the leader of the space, and this market, the way we need to uh, work on it is like we need to evolve as an industry. We are talking about predictive intelligence. We are talking about how AI is going to change. Day one, I decided I'm not here to make $1 million revenue. I want to be the leader in this marketplace. So we decided that we are going to go head on, build all the critical pieces which is required to run the MSP business. It can be PSA, RMM, IT documentation, network monitoring, project management, all the critical pieces you need to run your platform. You start with SuperOps. So we took quite a lot of time to build the platform. Usually it takes more than 5 to 6 years to build such a big platform because most of the engineers who worked in SuperOps have experience building this in their past life. So it was easier for us to build it much faster, tighter, with one other thing which I just want to plug it shamelessly is we are just starting up with AI. AI, everybody are talking about ChatGPT or Gen AI, but the way we are thinking about is prescriptive intelligence, where you will know before incident happens in an environment. So that's how we want to build it. That requires a lot of data consumption. Only a pure play integrated SaaS company can do that. So that's the vision we want.
No, that's that's so funny you mentioned that, because I mean, I've been thinking about this concept of almost like predictability, and it sounds like that's kind of the path that you're going down. It's like predicting, kind of getting ahead of I forget the name of that. What was that movie? Like it was a Tom Cruise movie. What, 10,
Yeah,
15 years ago?
I know it's called
Uh,
vanity something.
Forget the
I
name
know
of
what
it,
you're
but
saying.
yeah, but no, but in seriousness, I mean, when we look at margins, we look at technician efficiency, kind of look at, let's face it, like a lot of MSPs these days, they're, the market's getting commoditized, and where I think they win is becoming, it's automation, but getting this predictive space where you can mitigate, an issue ahead of time and have an automatic remediation. I think that's game changing. I think from
That's the future,
yeah,
Kevin. Like we are
yeah,
talking about the help desk industry. Leave the MSP market, help desk industry, where they are talking about AI taking tickets and resolving L1. And
Yeah.
the industry is going to eventually move. We as MSPs, we need to decide, hey, when the IT industry moves, we should be there. And it's about business impact. I'm able to tell you that this is where impact might happen, and we need to act on it. The whole model will change. And whether we like it or not, the AI is going to completely change for good. So we just need to adapt accordingly.
Yeah, well, I hope it's for good, because everything you hear is AI is going to change the world for bad. Like, I can't tell you how many podcasts I've listened to. It's like everything's doom and gloom about AI, and how we're going to get replaced by machines. So, sounds like you're at least taking us down the right path with this stuff.
No, I think definitely we need regulations. I'm not saying it's not scary, but we do need regulations. But if it's regulated properly, it will
Yeah.
create more opportunity than problems. Like definitely, you will have some job which has been given to AI, but it will make your life much better, and there will be a lot of opportunity with AI.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, you're again, and you've kind of tackled some of these, massive problems, and you've got, you got competition, all up and down kind of the tech stack and the chain, and one of the challenges is that, whether it's AI or just the stack in general, like it's moving at a torrid pace right now. Just the evolution of technology is moving. And I think you kind of made mention in some of the notes as we are prepping for this, that in the past you'd see technology advancing every maybe every 10 years or something like that, but now it's literally, it feels like it's every 6 months or almost every day, right? Because you got something new coming out. So what it sounds like you guys had a distinct advantage because you had a team that had built solutions in this space, so that probably gave you kind of early, gave you a really good foundation. But as you move forward, like how do you view kind of the rapid pace of technology transformation? How do you stay ahead of that, because it's moving so fast?
See, I always say that in my company, you should be paranoid, right? Like I like this brand called Nokia. I used to have this one phone, 3310. Like you throw it from the second floor and you can just put it back and it still works, right? Like we all Nokia back in the day. Uh, what did they do wrong? They didn't do anything wrong, and they became irrelevant. Like when
Yeah.
smartphones came in, so great companies can become irrelevant if you are not keeping up with the market trends. So the one thing which I keep telling to my team is anybody can become irrelevant if you are not paranoid and adapt to the technology and trends. You just have to listen to the customers. End of the day, if you go back in the 1900s and if you go ask people what you want to move from one place to other, they will ask stronger horses and stronger, faster horses.
Right.
Then it became cars, flights, and you need to listen to the customer, but not ask what customers want to build. Don't ask them features, ask them the pain point. So when you
Mhm.
are working towards a pain point, all this becomes a medium, whether it's AI or it's big data or it's anything. So if it's going to make your pain point and come up with a solution easier to it, you can always be on top of it. These are means of technology which will only help you make our life better. End of the day, software is just here to make your life better. But what we are doing instead is we are managing software. We are having 4 people to use the software and get trained on them. Software should be there to help you make your life better. So I look at technology as an enabler. Like if there is a better way to solve a problem with technology, we should adopt it. So if we have this mindset, we can always evolve with technology and use the technology for your strengths.
All right, what I take away from that is that I'm not the only one paranoid. So I feel like I'm in good company now. So that's good. That's good. Um, so man, gosh, so many questions. We'll get forward looking, but look, you've been on you're on a pretty steep trajectory, right? You've had, with the last two organizations, some really healthy 9-figure exits. Um, you're obviously global between North America, and you've got clients down in APAC and EMEA, and you got operations over in India. I mean, how do you stay sane? How do you stay not grounded, but like what are your kind of routines to stay on top of everything? Because you're managing, you're managing a global operation 24/7.
So, first question is, yeah, it's like last company we had a great exit. We kind of sold our company for a 300 million exit. This time when we started the company, it's not for the money. Like to be honest, most of our leadership team can retire. We want to really make an impact in the industry. That's the reason why we started SuperOps. And I always ask this question to other founders who I'm surrounded with, like, why are we doing what we are doing? That question is very important, right? Like, money is important. I'm not saying it's not important. At the end of the day, leaving that, you need a purpose to do what it is. I kind of get the rush in creating something like this. A great technology, a great product which can impact some life. Like the rush you get. So I don't know if you've seen in one of the places where Brad Pitt, I think he mentions this in one of the video. Everybody worries about the end destination. Some of them worry about the journey. I worry about the company, right? Like if we can actually create a great company with some meaningful purpose, the company actually gives you a rush to go and do that. So the journey and the company matters, destination not so much. We can definitely build a great empire if the purpose is good. So to your answer of how we are dealing with it is, I get really excited if there is going to be a PR or a campaign. Like we do have offices in New Zealand, we have offices in US. Almost our 70% of our customer is from US and rest in Europe and Australia. Uh, Pretty much work late nights. Like every day, I go to bed by around 12, 1 p.m. and then hit the office by 9, enjoying the rush. So, uh,
Well, I think that's a common trait with founders and just entrepreneurs in general. It's a lot of times it's not about the destination. It's about the figuring out how you get there. And surrounding yourself with the right team obviously is crucial to being able to get there, and wherever the heck getting there means. Because I think
yes,
the destination doesn't change at least 100 times, and you're doing something wrong.
exactly.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like we say the word pivot all the time, and like, oh, enough of
yeah.
pivoting. But it's it's part of the territory. So looking forward, I mean, again, you guys are scaling quite nicely. You're not necessarily looking at kind of like here's the specific destination, but you got rapid technology evolution, you got AI, you got consolidation of platforms. There's this push to be kind of a platform vendor, these days. So as you're looking out, and I don't know if you look at 3 month or 6 month, year, 3 year horizons. I mean, where do you see this thing going over the next year or next 3 years? Is it all organic? Are you contemplating acquisitions, different elements, or is it just really lean into the build, or like what's that model you think or formula look like for you?
Uh, to be very honest, we are just getting started. So the initial days, we wanted to build the right product. We took our time to build a platform, and we got some initial traction from the market. We have not even invested heavily in GTM uh, right now. So most of the sales were happening from India. Now we have an office in Dallas, and we are investing in GTM. This year and next year is going to be the year of expansion globally. We're going to open an office in UK and in Australia, so expansion. And the product wise, we just launched a network monitoring platform. More and more product will be shipped. So we are also planning to launch an IT edition by end of this year. So that would be so. Imagine we have like 6 to 8 products by next year, uh, offering to both MSPs and IT, and we do have a great distribution system across the globe. So that would be the phase of Supras from emerging company to a growing company or a scaling company. So that's how I am looking at Suprops in the next couple of years. So we are backed by really, really great investors. If you can see, like world's top investors like Addition Capital, March Capital, Matrix, and Elevation, all individually capable of cutting $1 billion check, are backed for Suprops.
You don't get backed by that caliber of organizations unless you're doing something right. So well done to you on that. So the customer journey, right? So the MSP that's coming in, and there are multiple definitions of MSP and where they are in their current their journey, right? There's kind of the net new that are looking for kind of net new solutions, and then you have some of the legacy, to your point, that are looking for that rip and replace or kind of some type of migration path. But what's the typical MSP coming in? Where do they start? And then I think what's great is that they will have this, whether it's modular or the ability to kind of turn on different elements, like network monitoring. But where's the typical MSP, kind of the persona of the typical MSP that comes in and starts using your solutions?
So initial days, we started off with emerging MSPs. The reason why we called emerging MSPs are small MSPs who are actually using point products, need a consolidated platform. So they start with SuperOps. So the stage where they come and they scale with us and we help them grow is to bring in efficiency and profitability. So from the emerging, they go to the growth stage of MSPs. So we help them. In fact, the way we are positioning our product is like we kind of handhold them and show them what business metrics they should measure, how they can become profitable, how they can be efficient, which MSPs, which clients are actually giving them profits and which are actually dragging them down. All these kind of visibility is what we are trying to bring, because end to end we have every data. So PSA to RMM. So emerging to growing is where we are helping the MSPs. Eventually, we want to go a little bit deeper with the products, and we will also go to scaling and advanced MSP. So that would be our vision in the next coming 2 years. The game plan will be completely different. It's more of customizations and having a lot of migration and help desk, and these kind of things are needed for advanced markets. Emerging markets, it's like they can get started within weeks with SuperOps.
Cool. Very cool. Well, look, I know you're probably prepping for your big talk out at PAX 8 Beyond next week, right?
Yes.
I'll certainly be in the room. I'll be in the back. I won't heckle you, but I'll be back there cheering you on. Yeah. What's the best way for kind of the channel, the audience to engage with you guys?
No, it's SuperOps.com. We just renamed SuperOps.ai to SuperOps.com. It's a very, very transparent model where you can get all the information on the website, sign up for a 14-day free trial. We'll have 24/7 support, even within the product. You can just chat with our support folks, ask any questions. It's a very transparent model. And what you see, what you pay is how we have set it up, and SuperOps.com.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to your big talk and big announcements here coming up, and yeah, I mean, what can I say?
Stay tuned for it. We have an exclusive announcement next week, a big announcement, which basically will send out a message to the industry, and can't wait to see you at Beyond, Kevin.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure to report on that. I thought I was going to get the scoop this week, but I understand you gotta keep it under wraps until next week. So fair enough. Well, look, I really appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to getting caught up when I see you up at Beyond. And yeah, I wish you continued success, because you guys are moving fast, and it's really great to watch you guys just come into the marketplace and not just make noise, but make things better all around. So great stuff.
Thank you so much, man. It was always a pleasure to be a part of your podcast, and this is just the beginning, and it's going to be an interesting ride.
Right on, man. All right. Talk to you soon. All right.
See you.
All right.